Okay guys, so today we're continuing this series with Raw, the series about deck building. To start off, I'm gonna make a deck with Raw if you have all the cards, and then we're gonna make another one if you don't have all the legendary cards, right? Because there's a really impactful. So if you have the legendary one, you could play a control type of deck. So let's build that one, right? Because all the legendaries, they fit also into mid-range, but they're better in the control, right? So we're looking at Book of the Dead, we're looking at Phantom's Grasp, and we're looking at Annihilation, and also, in my opinion, the most powerful one, Anubis. Anubis is basically a removal when you play him, and a big threat because he's a 4/5 range. So let's get into, how to build control. So control, you want to have removal early game, and then you want to curve out into big health minion that's going to stick on board and help you throughout the mid game, and finish with these big bombs like Anubis, Annihilation, Phantom's Grasp, and Book of the Dead. So to do that, we're going to play Double Sunder. That's early removal. We're going to play Magma Slam. Even if it got nerfed, it's early removal. We're going to play Minion Recruiter because that's going to remove cards from their deck. So we're going to have less cards to deal with. And if you get like, a Fire Giant or a Blade Master or a Kang or a Bull Demon King, well, Minion Recruiter is going to really be helpful. Yes, sometimes you will have some Fire Imps and some Sign of Doom, and it's not going to be really good. But still, it's a strong play early game when they don't play anything, and you just have removals, and you, instead of just passing your turn, you can actually play Minion Recruiter, maybe get some value out of it. Now, we're going to play some Capri. We're going to play the Focus Blast, also a really good removal. We're going to play Gabs, and I like really, play Double Need because they're really a big threat. Not as much as Anubis, but still, they're a big threat. And of course, the premium, the premium removal of the game, Execute. Right, so now we have 20 cards. Now, because we have Capri, Gab, and Neat here, some people could go with Ritual Tribute, and it's very strong because we're going to revive these gods. Or Anubis. So Ritual Tribute is extra value with these cards when they die, right? All your cards are either really big health like Gab or Capri, or high attack range units that are hard to deal with. Now from this point we're missing 3 cards, right? So 3 cards, they can really be various depending on the people. You could go with Cataclysm. Some people would like to go with the Last Breath for more removal option, and some people would like to go with Book of Thought and or Cyrus, right? Book of Thought meaning that it's more RNG. You can get these legendaries, right? So I like personally to go with, I don't like RNG cards. So for me, I like to go with 1 Last Breath and 2 Antlers, because Antlers is a threat early game if they can't play with it, right? If they can't, deal with him. And sometimes Capri is really good defensively against low unit. Antlers is going to be really good for stunning and killing higher health units, or melee units than Capri, basically. Instead of Antler, like I said, you could go with a Cataclysm if you like, another Last Breath, or these cards, right? This is basically the control Raw. Now, if you don't have all these legendaries, right? That's if you don't have all of them. For example, let's say you have none. You could still play control like that, but then I strongly suggest to have double Book of Thought to try and get these legendaries, right? From there, we can replace Anubis with Osiris. But it's not, he's not in range, and he doesn't remove something when played on board. He's still, efficient, but you get the point. And then you could go with double Enter, and you can finish with a Last Breath or a Cataclysm, depending on what you like. Let's just go for Cataclysm, for example, right? And you still have control. Of course, this is a really less potent control deck, but you know, it really depends on what you have in your collection. So this is one way to build Raw with the control, you know, playstyle. Now let's restart. Let's restart from scratch, and now let's play you know, another deck who's gonna be, let's see, YouTube 2, and now we're gonna play Midrange. So in Midrange, you want to play at each mana, you know, a threat on board that's gonna be better each turn, right? So you always want to have board control. So with that, we're going to go with Sunders and with Magma Slam because they're really good early to fight with the board and also to play something at the same time. We're gonna have Bastet, who even when she dies, you're still gonna have stuff on the board, and it's the same thing for Decrepit Bowman, right? We're literally shifting through a much more early game to be able to take the board from the start of the game and to always put more and more on board while your opponent can keep up with you. This is why you have the Bastet and the Decrepit Bowman. Then if you have them, Anchor are a really good choice to go also because they're really aggressive. They're going to use their removal on your Bowman, on your Bastet. Maybe your Anchor is going to actually live. Then you can also play Executes, because whenever it gets to, there's really high, you know, health target and you need to kill, you can go with the Execute. You're gonna be able to go with Geb, with Neath. These curves pretty well, as you can see. Yeah, and you need more 4-drops. Yes, I forgot. You have Khepri, who can boost. Like, Khepri is really good because he can boost all the little minions from the Decrepit Bowman or all the little minions from the Bastet. Yes, so basically now we have what? We have 7 cards left, right? So because we play Bastet, Ritual Tribute is not as valuable because reviving a Bastet is only a 4/4. It's not even range, so you don't really want to play that. You definitely want to put Anubis if you can't, and you want to put Annihilation Phantom's Grasp and Book of the Dead if you can, because they still work in the mid-range, because each turn you're putting something bigger and bigger, right? But if you don't have them, I think that playing mid-range is probably going to be better for you than playing the control other deck that I was doing before. So with that, you know, you want to put Tress on board turn after turn, so double Osiris, if you have them, are really a good way to go. Now, let's see, you can also add on the 4 mana drops, if you really want the Chow Fangs, they're not bad on 4 mana instead of the Khepris. If you don't have the Anhurs, go with the Chow Fangs, because Anhurs are epic. Maybe you don't have them, then you know, you can probably get some Gebs. They're really good to boost the health. Like for example, 3/6 Anhur is pretty good when you play Geb after. And then you go with the late game, right? With the late game, you're going to be able to have, if you want, Blade Masters, even though that's going to be a little bit weaker to Minion Recruiter, because they can Minion Recruit your Blade Master or your Decrepit Bowman. And you can also play Fire Giant, if you have it, but if you don't have any Legendaries, for example, you're not going to play him. So that's left us with what? We could, yeah, that's left us with this. You can also play Departed Warrior, who's an early game, and it's gonna, you know, give you a lot of 3 mana stuff to play the Bastet, the Departed Warrior, or the Decrepit Bowman. I'm strongly suggesting you the Warrior over Serket, for example, because the poison on Serket's not really reliable. The unit's just gonna trade, you know, and it needs to be in melee range of the Serket. So yeah, and then you can just have one last card for your personate flavor, or what you like or what you don't like. For example, if you don't have the double Blade Master, you can go with double Focus Blast. And for example, you could play, what else is good? What else is good? you could play a Bull Demon King. It wouldn't be bad. You know, so you can really fill up these as how you like, but playing Double Blade Master for me, if I have to choose, I will probably play one Focus Blast because it counters Loki and I really hate him. So yeah, you see how you play the Bastet, the Bowman, the Departed Warrior. If Warriors die, it's gonna give you draw, so you're gonna be able to keep up and to always put it off stuff. You're gonna be able to heal with the Raw, playing the Anhurs, the Capris, the Gap, the Needs, the Osiris, the Blade Master, and then you can go in the 8-mana turn with like a Gab and a Departed Warrior, and the 9-mana turn you can play 3/3 drops or you know, Anhur Capri. There's a lot of plays, but you get a point of always putting more and more on board so your opponent can basically keep up with you. And Bastet and the Decrepit Bowman really help you because they spawn extra creatures on board that can be buffed with Capri, for example. And most of the time you want to play stuff. You want to play your minions instead of removing minions with Sundering Magma Slam, because the point of having Sunder Magma Slam and Execute is to being able to sunder something and play a threat at the same time. So you're not only removing stuff from their board, but you're adding into your side of the thing also. For example, turn 4 Sunder Bastet or Sunder Departure to Warrior, Sunder any 3 drops, really good. For you can also go 6-mana turn, 7-mana turn with a Magma Slam Anhur, Magma Slam Bastet. You know, this is why we have so much 3 drops in this deck. And then on the 10th mana turn, you can go with like Execute Neath, and you kill like their Blade Master or you know their Bull Demon King, their Anubis, something like that, and you play your Neath, so now they have to deal with your Neath. And you know, don't forget that whenever you attack with your guys, you can always, if you attack the leader, you can always heal them back with Raw after. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed, because you know, I showed you 2 different decks. You get the more control-ish part, the more mid-range value part of Raw, how you can play them. And I hope that you learned a lot. And you know, tell me what you think in the comments of the video if it helped you. And have a good day. I'll see you soon.